Welcome everybody to another episode of UFO War Room. This is a gentleman I met. His name is Gavin. Gavin, if you want to introduce yourself, how do we meet? Where do I know you from? And why am I talking to you today?
Yeah, so we met a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, at the press conference in DC for the Virgin case in Brazil. It was quite the experience for me. I got to meet a lot of really cool people. I got to have an hour-long interview with Dr. Italo.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so cool. We had two Brazilian translators with us, and they're actually part of the crew. So it was just an amazing experience. I got to meet, like I said, a lot of really cool people, and I have really cool interviews. I got to talk to, man, now I'm blanking on his name. It'll come to me. But, Whitley Strieber.
Yes.
And it was so cool because he was kind of just walking by, and then I asked him a question. Like I said, do you ever invite contact? And he's like, well, if you know my work, you'll know that I have had lots of contact. And I was like, I do know your work.
Yeah.
And so I got like a little 10-minute interview with him.
Really?
During the little after dinner session. But man, it was cool. And then I got to talk to another gentleman who's in this field. I pretty much know everything, and so usually when I'm watching YouTube videos on the subject, it's kind of just like the same old stuff. When I talked to this gentleman who was on the UAP task force, he was telling me things that I've never heard before, things about my experience that I've never shared with anybody else.
So let's touch on that. You and I met what was for me the first night. So I arrived Monday. Immediately started drinking because that's what firefighters do. So I immediately started drinking. I think by the time you and I met, I had quite a few drinks. So we had a pretty interesting conversation. And what is it you were doing there? Like, I was there on a whim with three other gentlemen that we all just decided, screw it, let's get together, let's try. Because I'm tired. Like, I asked you about social media, and there's just so much and I'm not denouncing what's going on with it. There's just so much unnecessary, just static noise, and in my opinion, unnecessary nonsense. And it's like, if it doesn't have to do with disclosure, UFOs, aliens, etc., I'm really not interested in entertaining a lot of it. And unfortunately, I got sucked into some of it. But you and I met, what was night one for me. You were working with Mr. Fox, or what is it you guys were doing exactly? Because I met you guys as a group. Yeah.
So I'm working with a guy named Evolution.
Evolution, yeah.
He's a really cool dude. He's been the executive producer on a few of James Fox's films.
Really cool dude, yeah. No, super cool dude.
Yeah.
Very welcoming. You know, you get. I got thrown off at first by the Evolution name, so I'm like, all right, I'm not Hollywood. Yeah. I'm Jersey. And like I said, I'm a firefighter, so it's like, all right, I meet someone named Evolution. I'm like, all right, what the hell is this?
What's your real name? Yeah, I get it.
Cool fucking dude. Loved him to pieces. Was real cool. Wasn't like very approachable. Spoke to me the next day. Like, real cool dude. And you work with him, right?
Yeah, I work with him. I'm. He's kind of creating a consciousness movement, and so about a month and a half ago, we did a little documentary where we put on these EEG machines and measured our brains after we would do these practices. A lot of it was just kind of like playing, opening up. There's a lot of dancing. And then we were also, we were in like a little regiment, and the idea is to track our brains over that like 5 days. But then we're gonna keep doing that and see how our brains, actually bring science into this whole idea. Right?
Yeah. So the brain mapping thing is new to me. Like my wife, I'm gonna share something. My wife is a recovering alcoholic. She's 2 years plus sober. So when she went into rehab, one of the things they did was a brain scan. She happened to actually go to the rehab that we deal with as firefighters because abuse is rampant, depending on on certain things that we see and deal with every day, because the shit that we see and deal with is not normal. So luckily, she was able to go to the same facility that I do, that I would have had I had a problem. I do not, thankfully. I'm as almost straight edge as they come. I don't drink. I don't really smoke. I'm not saying I don't drink. I drink socially, and very rare. So that was like a let loose night for me. But yeah, she went and she had her brain mapped and she explained it all to me. And I'm new to all the consciousness and all this stuff. I'm like a very like prove it to me type person. You know what I mean? So it takes a little bit for me to wrap my head around the consciousness aspect of it. So I'm still new to it. So you mapped your brain, and did it show patterns over the time and changes in you guys? What did it show? Can you tell me?
Yeah, so there's different waves, right? I think it's starting at Delta. I'm gonna mess up. I don't have it memorized really.
You're fine.
Right?
You're fine.
But I remember the beta waves had to do with your emotional, I guess your EQ of the situation. Mm-hmm. And so one of the other guys who was with me, it was hyperactive, and you could totally tell by his personality because he was always wanting to make sure everybody's okay. I had a hypoactive beta, which makes a lot of sense because when things get when there's too many people in the room, I dip out. I'm like, sweet, I'm being overstimulated here. Instead of trying to map this out, let's get out of here. And if I can't, I'll just disappear in my head, right?
Right.
And then I think the beginning part of it, I can't remember. I think it was the delta wave. It wasn't delta. It could have been alpha waves. I don't remember. But it had to do with the idea of this was your base level, and it's kind of controlled by how many if your brain is stressed or not, but because it's getting what it wants. So your brain is going to want like water, good nutrients, and plenty of sleep.
Right.
And so we not only tested us, but the whole crew, the whole camera crew as well.
Really?
And pretty much everybody, the scientist dude was saying, like, we're majorly sleep deprived. And I think we're majorly sleep deprived as a culture. And so one thing that I did when I got home was I started making sure I got to bed on time at the same time every single night. And I've noticed a big difference with just that. There was a change in my brainwaves were getting better over the 5 days. But again, it's only 5 days and you're not gonna like change so much. And so this is the ongoing project that we're gonna link back up. And I think the next project that we're gonna do is a whole month of study exercises and stuff like that.
So what was it that they were testing for you exactly for your brain levels? Like, did you? So you're what's called an experiencer, correct? That's why I'm speaking to you. You're an experiencer, and people are going to be like, "Well, why are you talking to this guy? He's not a big name." I want to talk to anybody. That's the whole purpose of me doing this, delving down the paranormal for experiencers of the supernatural, of alien experiencers, etc. At some point during the lives, I'm going to basically have story time. So people will come on and just tell me your stories. So that's why I want to talk to you. Everybody that I speak to doesn't have to be some big name. You were super interesting to me. We clicked the first night, and I said I want to interview, and thankfully you agreed. And this is great because I want to hear your experience, because you and I have had a couple of conversations. I was a little buzzed at the time, but I still remember it. But
you didn't steam it.
Thank you. But let's delve into what it is that. Who else? You said everybody else on the team. Is everybody that works on that particular team with Evolution? Do they happen to have experiences in this realm, or believers? Or go over that with me, because I met another gentleman. He was really cool, African American gentleman. He had the long braids, and he was filming the next day. Real cool dude. I liked him. He was filming me a lot too, but he was dope. I didn't catch it. I forgot his name, but he was real cool. Is everyone an experiencer, or what is their story?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's an experiencer. we talk about these things, but we don't. There's never been a time where we just sat down and we're like, hey, let's go deep into this conversation. So everything I know is kind of from little bits of conversations that we have, usually one-on-one. One of the girls in particular, she sent a picture to the group chat, and I was like, wow, those are the beings that I see, like exactly. Really? And so there's definitely matchup, between our experiences, and she's probably the one that has had the most similar experience as me, but I don't know if I even really know of anybody that's had as many experiences as I've had. I mean, I've had hundreds of experiences, and it sounds like a lot.
I've witnessed one actual true UFO with my own eyes. I have it documented on film, but not the actual UFO. It's in one of my live streams. And then I've got what I think are orbs, because they're just balls of light, and they sit there, and I didn't really know. As far as the ghost experiences, this is where you and I had the thing. And I believe you're getting visited by interdimensional entities and or aliens is what we think it is. And I've had a lot of supernatural experiences with ghosts, and they scare the shit out of me. And me being a firefighter, I run into burning buildings. I'm not afraid of most things or a lot of things, and I tend to find things that are scary, fascinating. But you and I had the conversation. I said, no, it scares the fuck out of me, because I'm like, with an alien, maybe I could fight an alien. It'll probably kick my ass, but I can't fight a ghost. Like, it's just they just do weird shit. And I told you the one experience where I was sitting at work taking my boots off in one of the captain's rooms, and it sat on my lap, and I freaked the fuck out. I was like, get the fuck off me, and freaked out. And then you tend to run towards these things. So do you want to go ahead? Let's start delving into your experiences. What is it that you've experienced? What is your earliest experience that you can remember? And how long has it been going on? How old are you exactly?
I'm 37. Going to be 38 here pretty soon.
Wow, buddy, you look young. Good for you. Right, so 38. And about how long do you remember these things happening to you?
So 2014 is when they started coming just a lot. I mean, every single night they would come to me. And then, but that kind of opened my mind to understanding that it's been happening to me my whole life. And when I was a kid, I just thought they were monsters, and that's how they would appear. Kind of like smoky black figures. And I was terrified. I was terrified of them as a child. I mean, and I didn't have a place. I wouldn't think that they're like, oh, these are alien beings like coming to help me. They just seem like monsters. And then in my teenage years, I still would have these things come to me every once in a while. So a lot of the times it's right when you're going to sleep, you get into that hypnagogic stage, or right when I'm waking up. I would think I'd be waking up, and then there would be a little tiny monster there, and it would freak me out, and it would be getting closer to me, and then I would wake up again.
Let's back that up. So you'd be sleeping, you're a kid, and you wake up to a little tiny monster, just one sitting there going, hey, what up? Like, does it speak to you? What is it? Does it communicate with you? Does it just sit there looking at you weirdly? Like, go over this with me. You're about how old?
So one time, with a little tiny monster, I think I must have been 17 or 18. Another time, there was this smoke monster when I was probably like 16 or something like that.
Wow. And that's
the little tiny monster was about this.
That's the earliest you can remember?
Okay, the earliest I can remember, like I said, I was a kid. Okay. And it was in my room, and it was this smoke monster. The smoke monsters kind of come a lot, and it's not. It looks like a puffy smoke ghost figure, but it has little arms, like a whole bunch of little arms, kind of waving around, and they don't really talk to me. They just approach me. They get closer and closer and closer as I usually freak out.
No, I can believe me. I can freaking imagine. So have you been with people when you've witnessed these things? Do they ever come to you and like you can see them but others can't, and then you're like, all right, what the fuck is wrong with me? And like, you know, and again, I'm not judging you. I'm just curious as to how it is, because that's how it was for me when I saw the 2 or 3. I basically spoke to my grandfather. I believe I told you this conversation. I was 4. And I was at a diner in the middle of the day with my mother. We ate, we were paying at the register, and I just started talking to somebody who's there. And I could see him and my mother could not. And I'd never seen a picture of my grandfather before. And she's like, Vito, who are you talking to? And I said, he says he's grandpa. And she's like, okay, what is he wearing? And I described what he was wearing. But then when I described the other person with him, she lost it. So I think I told you this. My grandfather, this is back in the day. You know, obviously this is, I'm 4, so it's 1980. And obviously my grandfather is older. My mother was born in 48, so he's obviously older from the old times when black people and white people, they just weren't friends. That's just unfortunately what it was. It's very rare to see a black man and a white man standing together, and his best friend happened to be a black man, and there's no fucking way I could ever know that. I've never seen a picture of him. None of it. And I described what this man looked like and told her, I can't remember his name because I was a kid. I'll have to ask her and see. And she just started breaking down crying. Like, how the fuck can you know this? You're 4. There's no way you can know this. And my grandfather basically just said he wanted to meet me. He was very proud of my mother and that he loved her very much and he missed her, and that was it. And that, you know, from then on, I just had other instances as a kid with paranormal activities, and it's just, mine was always ghosts. Yours are interdimensional beings, which they could be linked. I'm not quite sure. So yeah, tell me your story again. So you had smoke monsters, you have a little tiny monsters.
So in my so when you asked the question about has anybody ever seen them, one time me and my ex-girlfriend at the time, or you know, my girlfriend at the time, were sleeping on my bed, and the beings came, and my mind clicks on, I'm like, oh, they're here again. And she grabs me by the arm and sits straight up, and she's like, you're cursed, you're cursed, you're cursed. And that tripped me out because,
well, yeah,
I mean, I
freak anybody out.
And she also said that she had woken up a couple of times with somebody standing over me, you know, staring down at me, and which is kind of a classic thing that they do. A lot of times people are like, what do they say? And I'm like, they kind of just stare at me.
That's fucking weird, yeah.
And so those are the only 2 times with her that I was actually getting like secondary backup with these beings. Besides that, they mostly come to me just randomly throughout the night. There's been a couple of times when I know that I was 100% awake, but a lot of the times when they come, if it's so intense, it just makes me black out, and then I wake up later, and I remember the very beginning sliver of it, which is usually just like them kind of breaking that little tiny boundary of they're behind the wall, and then you see them, you know, just ease out from like a doorway. And like I said, whenever I know that they're there, it hits me like a ton of bricks, and I usually just freeze up, and there's an intense amount of energy, like an overwhelming amount of energy, and if it's too much, I black out. And the whole point of my practice is I'm trying to get stronger so that I don't black out when it happens.
Yeah, because we would talk about it. You've been learning to meditate and things like that. And that's the thing that I got to learn to do, and it's kind of impossible. I have 4 children. There's no fucking meditation in this house. It's just, I'm surprised it doesn't sound like romper room going on upstairs right now. And I've got 3 girls and 1 boy. You'd think that they'd be all quiet, but no, my girls are like WWE wrestlers, bro. They just beat the shit out of each other all day. It's crazy. But yeah, that's just, I can't meditate. And I'm kind of nervous to do so because I'm afraid of what I might open myself to. Because it's this whole consciousness thing freaks me the fuck out, dude. It truly does. Like it really terrifies me, especially with the weird shit that I've seen. There was a story. I don't think I told you this story. I was so fast forward. I was 4 years old. I believe when I saw my grandfather, I hadn't had my structure fire yet. So I'm what's called the rescue, where I was rescued from a burning building as a child. And actually became a firefighter. Now I'm a fire captain. So that's, neither here nor there. That's my story. And that happened a couple of months after seeing my grandfather. And we were homeless for a few years. And we lived with a bunch of people. And then finally we had a house to live in. And we're in this house. It's a 3-family house in the town that I work in the town that I live in at the time. And I keep seeing this person in the attic. And they're wearing a blue and gray shirt. And they keep trying to wave me over to them. And I refuse to go to them. There's something about it. It's just, as a kid, it just told me, don't go to that person. It's not, something's weird. Nobody else could see him. So one time, this was Christmas time, I snuck up into my sister's room. Her room was up in the attic, off of that room that he was always in. And I walk into her room and I wanting to go snoop for Christmas presents because that's where my mother would hide the presents. And my sister was in there. So I'm talking to my sister. We're in front of each other. And then from behind me, I hear my sister ask, Vito, who are you talking to? Now, I'm talking to what I think is my sister directly in front of me. I'm having a conversation. She's like, what are you doing up here? Why are you up here? And I was like, oh, nothing. She's like, oh, you came with the snoop for presents, right? And I was like, yeah, kind of. And then that's when my sister said, Vito, who are you talking to from behind me? The thing that was in front of me smiled at me. And I turned around, and when my sister walked in the room, I fucking lost it. I was 7. I turned like white. I mean, as white as the sky in the window frame behind you, and just started bawling hysterically. And then I explained to her that you were just standing in front of me talking to me. And when I, turned around, she wasn't there no more. And my sister didn't see her. And that freaked me the fuck out ever since then. That it just, like, the ghost stuff, I'm like, nope. So, like, yeah, I can only imagine, like, do these things, do they speak to you? Do they, like, I think my things are ghosts. You think your things are interdimensional entities or whatever the hell Anna Lippolina Luna's talking about, I'm assuming. It's just crazy. And you see them every night, or?
So starting 2014 to roughly 2016, they were coming to me just about every night.
Wow.
And then it really started to slow down. It was funny because 2016, I had this one experience, and whenever they've come, it's usually a pattern of overwhelming vibration, overwhelming energy, feeling like I'm moving too fast, like accelerating too quickly, like I'm just barely holding on. A lot of the times there's like a pain in one of my chakras, like somebody's like leaning into me with a tattoo gun, and I'm paralyzed and I can't move. And this time I was, 2016, I was like handling it so well. And I'm like, I'm a bad, sorry if I didn't want to curse, but I'm like, damn, Gavin, you're getting so good at this. I'm so good at this. And right when I said that night, the next night it didn't happen, and the next night it didn't happen, and then it would happen every couple of months, and then maybe it would happen every 6 or so months, and then maybe once or twice a year for a long time. And now I think I'm back to like maybe a couple of times a month where they come.
Now, when they come, is it always the same beings? Do they speak with you? It's always something different?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's always something different, but it carries a theme. It's always a bit different. Just like, this conversation with you is a bit different than our conversation the first time we met. So, but there's a theme to it, right? And I would say that there's one time there was 7 dark shadow beings all together that night. That was the only time that I've seen 7 of them. Mostly it's 3 of them, and then when it's kind of like a weird monster, smoke monster, it's only ever been 1 of them at a time. And there's also this like fuzzy ball guy with like a lot of teeth that smiles. Yeah. And
have you tried to draw? Have you tried to draw them, or like ever caught them on camera or anything?
Yeah, I draw them. I'm wondering if I have a picture of.
You look around like, do you fucking see one right now?
No, I'm looking around because I've drawn some and. I guess I drew this.
Holy, wait, put that closer. That is clearly a gray, or what I think to be a gray, and I'm assuming that's you.
Yeah.
And what is that, like what you woke up to, or what the fuck is that, bro? That is some fucking freaky shit right there. So you put that back on the camera again. Hold up. Yo, that is number one. That is excellent artwork. I used to draw comics in high school. Nothing to that level. Wow. Wow. And that's what you said. That. Wow, right down to, was that 4 fingers? Right down to like the Christ, bro. That. and that's what you think, like you woke up to that one day, or what? Explain that to me, please. Like, why'd you draw that particular scene?
I think they've been, like I said, I think they've been coming to me my whole life. I used to think they were monsters. Now I feel like they've been guiding me my whole life, or training me, or helping me energetically. And I think 2014, I was meditating a lot. And so when I asked to be visited, I was really just waking up to a procedure that I've been having my whole life. They were like, okay, you say you're ready. And then they woke me up for it. And I completely panicked. And so I probably messed up that whole night for them. But yeah, over a couple of years, I just tried to practice. It would get so scary, and I would run away, and I would try to break out of it, and then I would break out of it, and they would be gone, and I would get mad at myself, like, Gavin, you wussy, you get back there. And when they were just there, it's easy for me to find that feeling again and make it bigger, and then they would pop back up. And I would get, again, overwhelmed and scared again, and I would try to run away. And sometimes that would happen several times a night, where I would freak out, run away, and then force myself back. But yeah, I think they've been coming to me my whole life. I think they're doing something to me. And I've been trying to, draw some pictures of my experiences just to get it out there, to express the feeling. So.
Do you have more than those? Because please, by all means, send those to me, and I'll put them up in the interview.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? Like anything you have like that, send to me, and then it's gonna be. I'm gonna put it up during the interview. I want to show like I legit believe you. Like I looked you in the eyes, and I'm like, something's happening to this dude, because you explain some shit that you don't know unless you're experiencing it. So when you spoke to Mr. Shriver, did you tell him your story? I'm sure he probably gets that all day.
It was just really cool because I got to ask him questions from my own experience.
Mm-hmm. Something that only an experiencer would know, one experience to another.
Yeah. And so I didn't even... I'm not sure if I told him that I was an experiencer. Maybe I did. But the first part of the little interview that I stole, because he was walking by and I was just grabbed him, was just, I get to ask questions from my own experience, like, hey, do you feel overwhelming vibration when they come? Mm-hmm. Do you feel really scared when they come? Are you paralyzed? I get, and I just kind of weave those in to these, 10-minute.
The feeling you get, I didn't ask you this before, is it an anxious tingle?
An anxious tingle.
It's like I get anxious. Like I get anxious. I could get covered in goosebumps for no reason. I feel like something is like around me. I get a weird. It's just a weird. I feel them now more than I see them, and I feel them way before I see anything. So, and I try not to because it freaks me out. But yeah, I get like an anxious tingle, and it's just I like. It just feels like I gotta go. Like I like it's just
yeah. So I know I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I would say when they come, it's really really intense. I wouldn't call it a tingle. I would almost describe it as my insides are shaking and beginning to hum. They're shaking so much that there's a hum to it. And like I'm in a paint mixer or something like that, where my body feels like it's staying still, but I guess maybe my astral body or whatever you want to call it, it's vibrating back and forth intensely at like a crazy speed. And I've hit that vibration where it started like almost a resonance or a didgeridoo type effect that I felt in my esophagus. I've heard recently from a couple of experiencers, them talking about it, where one night they woke up and they were just being flooded with light vibration and an incredible amount of energy. That's happened to me several times. But one thing that you said just a second ago is you just know they're there. Kind of like when you're in a dark garage or something and you're finally just about to leave and you feel like something's like right behind you and you're like, I can't move. Yep. When they pop up, it's hard for me to describe the experience right now, but when they pop up, I'm like, oh, I know that feeling. They're here. And I would say that it's kind of like that feeling of feeling like something's watching you, but way more intensely, to where it's not like, oh, I feel like maybe somebody's watching me. It's like, boom, they're right behind me right now.
Something is here. I don't know what it is. I can't see it, but I fucking know you're here. And I say that my firehouse is haunted. Some people see them, some people don't. I've actually witnessed the things walking across the dorm. I've actually witnessed them interacting with objects like doors, opening, closing doors. I thought it was when I saw it, I thought it was a person. I thought it was one of the fire captains walking across, because at the time it was my first year on the job, and you're new and stupid and whatever. And the door opens, he walks across the door and walks out, goes to the bathroom. I had to pee, and they tell you if you have to pee, get the fuck up and go, because otherwise you'll be holding it for an hour when the call comes in. So I got up and went right behind him to go pee, like, a minute or so afterwards, and realized he wasn't in a bathroom. So I'm like, maybe he went to the office around the corner. And then I found out later on that wasn't anybody who was alive that walked out of that room. It was the ghost. So there was that. And we see them all the time at work. I haven't asked the chief because there's cameras everywhere now. I got to ask him and see if he's seeing anything on the cameras, but I think he's probably afraid to look, because he's one of the guys that's seen some shit there too. So
can I say something? So this reminded me of something that you said a little bit ago, that you're thinking about meditation, but I don't know, this stuff kind of scares me. So I believe that this stuff is probably already happening to you, but a lot of it is you can't remember because it was too shocking to your system to be able to hold on to or retain those things. And we're also pushing things away. And so I've faced that same fear. Like, trust me, like I've faced that same fear. And it's like, well, why don't I want to meditate? Because part of my conscious brain is like, hey, meditate. But then another part is like, don't do that, man, because you're going to open up these doors. And then my experience is, oh, Gavin, you're procrastinating. And it's like, I'm not procrastinating. I know that this is going to work, and I know that I might not be able to handle it when they actually come. One thing to add on to that is, so many people think that meditation has to look a certain way. meditation could be clearing your mind, but it also can be very energetically focused. And so at first you could just touch the upper part of your between the brow, and just say, I'm opening my third eye, and then close it.
I'm opening my third eye.
I'm opening my third eye, and then close it. And then once you get good with your hand, the hand is like the first, then you just, when you're washing dishes, I'm opening my third eye, and now I'm closing. I'm opening my third eye, and you just feel it energetically. It's kind of cool because instead of just trying to clear your mind, you're actually just focusing on one thing. And when you're focusing on one thing, opening and closing your third eye, you're not thinking about other things because it's a demanding task on your brain. So I've kind of changed my meditation techniques to fit my life. So I could do that when I'm driving, because I drive a lot. I'm a handyman. I can do that when I'm washing my dishes. I can do that right before I go to sleep. And that's been a really powerful meditation for me.
That's what I see when I think of meditation. I think of sitting there cross-legged going, you know what I mean? I know it's so goofy, but I think of like hippies and like, you know, Beatles music playing. It's just like, and I know that's not what it is. Meditation can be done anywhere. And Michael Batista actually told me that, because he goes, I just sit down and I start meditating. I'm like, you got to be are you one of those people that can just lay down and close your eyes, you go right to sleep?
Yeah, I would say so, but it started when I started meditating.
Really?
Because
all right, I definitely gotta try meditating. It takes me forever. I can't get this to shut down. That's the problem. Like especially at work, I spin like a top. It's bad.
Yeah.
It takes me forever to get to sleep, and then I hear like one noise and I'm wide awake, wondering who's trying to kill me. So it's, you know, it's crazy. See, I gotta break into that and start doing some meditation techniques. Have you spoken to, because I know if you work with James Fox, you got to come in contact with random UFO people. Have you spoken to any of like the psionics people from Skywatcher, like Jake Barber, maybe Michael Batista? Have you spoken to anybody about this stuff, about like the whole like psionics and reaching out? Because you might be able to call some shit down from the sky.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? So I have spoken to a couple of people. And some of them are like well-known names. None of the people that you talked to. I would love to meet Jake Barber, and I'm really interested in what's going on with Skywatcher. I think there's been a little bit of, I don't know, drama over there. A guy left.
I don't know what it is. I know Mike Batista's a cool dude. I speak to him fairly regularly. I could probably put you in touch with him if you wanted to reach out, but you don't have social media. That's the only problem. But yeah, no, he's a real cool dude. He might be able to tell you about some stuff. I'll show him this interview and say, hey man, I can give you this guy's information. Maybe talk to him. You know, he's a cool dude. So,
yeah, I would love that.
Maybe he could help you, because he can tap into it. According to him, he could just like call him like he's calling a cell phone. And I've been watching those Carl Crusher videos, and I've seen some weird shit on those videos. So yeah, I'll definitely give you the information, or I'll try and put you two in touch. I would love that. I don't pass information without having his permission. So, you know, just give me a little bit, and I wouldn't do the same for anybody. So that's good. But yeah, no, definitely, you got to definitely reach out and see about that shit. Because the thing that I noticed also is, and I was watching my video again when I saw the UFO. I actually said, I wish I could see a UFO 5 minutes before the fucking thing showed up, verbally. So I'm like, did I make that happen? Like, I'll show it in the edit, in the text. I literally say it like 5 minutes. That thing shows up, and then 5 minutes later, a weird helicopter flies over me. And it's just weird. So who knows? Maybe I manifested it. I don't know.
So one thing, when you start getting into the spiritual community, they start saying things like words are spells, right? And so, but I think that you have to realize that some spells are charged better with emotion. And so I could say, oh, I just won the lottery. But if I set it up so I'm watching like an old tape of the lottery, and I got the old lottery tickets, and then I pretend, oh my God, I won the lottery. I've charged it with energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're genuine and you're saying, oh, I want to see a UFO, and you tap into the excitement of that.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
it makes that spell a lot stronger. And so one thing that I do is when I'm driving, I just pretend that every light that I see is a UFO, and I try to imagine what it would be, how I would react to that. And so I'm driving at night, and I'm like, it's obviously a plane, but in my mind, I'm just turning it into UFOs. And there have been times where I've been laying out on my truck bed, the bed of my truck, looking at the stars, and I've tried to tap into that excitement, and I've gotten little flashes. I've seen, obviously they're UFOs in the sense that they're unidentified.
Yeah, you don't know what it is, right? Yeah.
You don't know what it is. But the one time in particular, it didn't even seem that high up. There was just a flash, like somebody turned on a flashlight maybe 50 feet above me, and then stopped. And would be a bright flashlight. And so, like, what was that? And it was me in that moment trying to reach out. So
yeah. And like I said, I didn't notice it until I was actually buying a new phone a couple weeks ago, and I was talking to the girl, and she was big into UFOs, and we were just talking back and forth. And I was showing my channel. She's like, okay, show me the thing. And I couldn't remember where it was in the video, so I scrolled through the what the hell is it? The speech, like the text, you could read what you're saying. I scrolled through there, and I realized, oh shit, I literally said, I've never seen a UFO before in my life. I would love to see one. And 5 minutes later, you hear me lose my shit, and that's exactly what happened. It was a flat disc, turned sideways, was C-shaped, and just darted across the sky. It was there and it wasn't. I had my phone over here, and I went, and it just, yeah. And if you see the video footage, I was recording vertically for the first time, and I didn't know that your camera cuts off everything from the top half. So even though I'm seeing everything from here upwards, everybody at home's not. And I had so many people in the chat, I couldn't see what was going on. So I felt like a dick. I'm like, oh, here's a drone, and here's a drone, and no one's seeing anything I'm seeing, and they didn't see the UFO, and I think they saw the helicopter. It was shitty. So it was a shitty recording, but I was excited and losing my shit out there. So you get these things. So have you tried to have conversations with them? Have you tried to communicate? Like you said, you've now, drone a set. I wouldn't have. I'd be still scared. But you have been trying to stay longer. And what have you been doing?
So when we're having a conversation, I've never had a conversation like this where we just sat and spoke back and forth to each other. All the conversations that I've had with them have been from an astrally projected state. So again, right, 2014, they would start coming, and when they would come, it would pop me out of my body after a few months of that. And so, and then I became so loose in my body where sometimes I would just fall out of my body. I would sit down on the couch and close my eyes, and I would fall through the couch. Or maybe I would be on my bed meditating, and I would start flying off towards the wall. And so those are experiences. And then sometimes they would come to me, and when they would come, I would pop out of my body, and they would lead me places. And it was almost like a hypnotic regression, because they would walk me down a hall, and at the end of the hall, there was a door, and that door opened up into like a spiral staircase made out of stone. And at the bottom of the spiral staircase, they opened another door to like this green pasture with kind of like the hay and the sun. And the whole time I'm paralyzed, and I'm kind of floating like a balloon behind them. And they led me through a couple of other places. And then there was this being, and I could barely see him because he was clear, but he was, I guess, made out of crystals. And in my mind, I was like, you're the aliens. And he didn't say anything. He didn't move. And I realized that it wasn't true, right? And so I said, you're the extra dimensionals. And that's when I got like a yes a yes feeling. I don't know.
Right.
And so it's conversations like that, or sometimes I'll ask a question, and before I've even asked the question, it's just the first word of it, I get a response in my head, and other times I'll ask a question and I'll get a memory of when I was 2 years old, and I realize that memory answered the question that I just gave.
Wow.
And so it's communication like that. It's never this long conversation. Sometimes they're telling me to calm down or not to be afraid, or one time they asked me if I'm ready to come home. And
what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. So I was having a really difficult time in my life, and they popped up. There's 3 of them at the end of my bed. Then there are these glowing light forms, and that's what they asked me, like, "Hey, are you ready to come home?" And I was like, "Yeah." And once I said that, I was enveloped into like a dry liquid of love, and it felt amazing, and my whole conscious, my identity was kind of dissolving away, and that went on for a while, and I just wanted to be there forever. And then I got this thought that I haven't said goodbye to my mom, and so I had to I didn't want to, but I had to pull myself out of it, because I knew if I stayed there for too long that I wouldn't get to say goodbye. And so so I pulled myself out of it, and I sat up in my bed, and I kind of just processed that for a while, and then the next morning I start writing goodbye letters to all my loved ones. It's definitely been a really intense journey for sure. But
yeah, I can't. Jesus Christ, it's just, yeah, that's just weird. Like, do you think that like you would have passed on to the next whatever? Like, do you think that, you know, that for all intents and purposes you would have, you know, passed on to the next realm? Like, what do you? You're saying it felt final? Like, that's just crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why do you think they're trying to take you, quote unquote, home? Like,
I don't think they tried to take me home. I think he just gave me this offer that I could go home. I've gotten a message that what I was supposed to do here, I did, and that I could go home if I wanted to, or I could decide to stay here and keep going. It was up to me. And so when I first got that message, I thought that I wanted to go home. And then I realized in the process of that journey of going home that I didn't actually want to go home, that I wanted to stay here and watch this play out.
Yeah, life is good, man. Especially now. It looks like we're about to get real disclosure, so
yeah.
Hell knows. So on your journey with James Fox, you've worked for James Fox for how long? Or worked with...
So again, I work with Evolution.
Evolution, yes.
Evolution was James Fox's executive producer on a couple of films. I've been on the set. I've met him a couple of times. The first couple of times, he didn't even remember me because he's a busy man.
Yeah, he sees other people. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, like stuff is going on. So it's cool. I've got to like sit down and have dinner with him a couple of times. I've talked to him. I mostly actually talked to his wife because she's a really sweet lady. And like I said, he's busy, and there's everybody that wants to talk to him all the time.
That's why I didn't want to bother him too much. I did show him because I got to speak to Carlos for like 30 seconds. Well, you know,
yeah.
And I showed Carlos.
Queria agradecer você pela sua bravura e queria mostrar para você, se você concordar, vídeo que se é parecido com você.
That's it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And eu já havia visto a mesma nave que o...
So that's it?
Eu vi, essa daí.
Exactly.
Exato.
Wow.
Essa
Okay.
Perfeito.
Wow.
Só que da metade para trás estava rasgado, estava
But
danificado.
only that from the half to the back was
ripped. Right.
But it's exactly that.
Wow.
And I showed Carlos, which is actually the question I wanted to. There was 2 questions I wanted to ask. I wanted to show Carlos the video that I had of what Carlos literally says is verbatim or identical to the thing that he saw, the actual craft. So I showed him that, and he was like, "That is literally what I saw, minus it being ripped in half." And then I wanted to ask the question of, you know, hypothetically, let's just say they do dig the body up of the gentleman who passed away because the alien scratched him. What if the body's not there? Or what if it's a different body? So that was the question I wanted to ask, and I couldn't. But yeah, you do get to speak to, or I mean, you've worked with James Fox for how long now? A few months or a few weeks, or
I mean, I guess it's you could say a few months. I met him about for the first time about a year ago, and I had dinner with him again. That's the time that he doesn't actually remember me, which is good because I was a little fanboy at first, right? So I get to be a little bit cooler, and
the second time,
it was, you know, and so I've been working with Evolution for about 8 months, and then Evolution got invited to the press conference, and he was like, "Hey, if I'm gonna go, I need my crew with me." Mm-hmm. And so last minute stuff, we all buy suits, we get fitted, and we jump on a plane, and now we're in DC, and you know that's when I got the most to work with James Fox. But I'm not working with James Fox.
No,
I work for
Evolution.
Somebody who,
right.
Yeah.
But the reason I was asking that is because obviously James Fox comes across and meets a lot of really interesting people in the UFO scene. Hence Whitney Schriever, Jeffrey Nucatelli, who was cool as shit. Who else was there? There was a bunch of people there. Jesus Christ, I can't even think. But like, you had to have come across some of these people. So like, do you get a chance to speak to them and say, or you just keep the stuff to you? You probably just keep the stuff to yourself without being an experiencer or whatever. Because I would probably keep it to myself. But
you know, I wouldn't want to run up and just like tap people on the shoulders,
right.
but
hey, this is
at the same time, I
to.
do, right?
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to just run up and be like another person that says, "Hey, this is what happened to me."
Right.
So I usually try to ask questions that only I could know. Right. So, and I'm usually very familiar with their work, and so. Yeah, I try to ask them, hey, how many people are having these experiences? And a lot of the times when I talk to them and ask those questions, I think that they get it, that it's coming from me. Mm-hmm. And but it opens up more of a conversation, because if I just walk up to you and be like, I'm visited by aliens, you know, like.
Oh, really, Jimmy?
Cool.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, look, Superman, and you're going to go the other way. No, I get it entirely. Which is why I feel weird telling my stories half the time, because then it's like either A, you're making it up, or B, whatever the hell. But then I'll say certain things, and they're like, okay, well, this guy's really seeing something fucking weird, or I've experienced something weird, which is, you know, kind of like you and I were like, all right, I know for a fact this kid's seeing something fucking strange. And I don't mean kid disrespectfully. I mean because I'm almost 50, and you're like way younger than me, so... You know, good for you. I don't mean, like when I say kid, I don't mean disrespectfully, but yeah. And so, like, what else have you, besides Whitley Strieber, have you gotten to talk to anybody else? Like, you should definitely reach out to him and see if maybe, you know, just on a experiencer level, not so much interview, like, this is what I'm getting. Have you done the same? Because he's claimed to be visited by Greys mostly, I believe, and he claims to get taken. And as a matter of fact, he thinks he recently got abducted a couple weeks before he was there. He spoke to my buddy Ty and told him that
place on my leg here. Yeah, I can see it. Come in and look at that. This was placed on my leg by the visitors about 20 years ago, and you can see these marks on it. They will come in and insert a needle in there every once in a while, and for a few days it's red on the around where the needle was inserted, and they've communicated to me that it's health related and that it helps keep my body strong.
Told him that he woke up with a mark on his leg and he thinks he was taken again before he was at that place. So it's crazy. So yeah, I would definitely try to reach out and speak to others. When's the last time that you've had an experience with these things that you can remember?
Probably just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
And what was it?
Yeah, actually, no, for 100%. It was right before I left to go on to the press conference.
And what was it that happened? Same thing with Little Being, or?
So I would say now it's pretty much always the same experience. There's three beings. They're glowing. I wake up to them, because again, it snapped me out of my sleep, and I'm like, oh, they're here. I'm a lot of times, like, I feel like I'm being flipped around like a pancake. I'm going like this, like this, like this. Sometimes I'll feel their hands on my body, but I'm not seeing them put their hands on my body. So it's kind of weird because I'm in this astrally projected state, but at the same time, I can feel what's happening to my body. So if there's a literal fly in the room and it lands on my face, this has happened, I can feel that there's a fly on my face. Then but I don't see the fly, right? I just feel it on my body. And so in the same way, when they come, a lot of times I can feel them pick up my body because I could feel their hands. And it's always like little kids, they kind of like touch like this, like they want to touch you. Mm-hmm. And I feel my body being carried, while I guess my astrally projected body is kind of being flopped around. Sometimes I'll stop and spin really fast, or kind of like a toboggan, be like flying through the air at a really
so where do you think they take you, like physically? Do you think they actually remove your body physically, not just the actual?
I think it's a combination. I mean, sometimes they are definitely moving my physical body. Yeah.
So you think like you're basically being, just like Whitley Strieber, you're being abducted, you're being taken. Do you think you're being taken on a ship?
I would assume so.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Now, have you ever seen an actual UFO or anything weird besides the lights in the sky? Like, what have you seen UFO wise? And is it always around those times?
Just not really, not in the sense that other people are talking about UFOs, but honestly, it hasn't really been my focus. So there's been a couple of times where I'm out camping, and so you might as well stare up at the sky and look for UFOs because you're out camping. And I guess that's when I've seen the flashes, maybe some orb-like things, but my focus has always been on what's happening to me in my room at night and how far I can go with that. I guess like seeing a UFO is cool, but I want to see the aliens. Dude,
yeah. See, I'm the same way. Like, all right, seeing that craft was the fucking coolest thing ever because of how it looked on the sky. It was just iridescent and glowy. Like I explained to you, it looked like the Return of the Jedi at the end, but not blue, but white. And you took that color and made it blue, not blue glowy, but white glowy. That's what it looked like to me. But at the same time, I want to see a goddamn alien. I want to see the Greys. I want to see these. I mean, I'd be scared shitless to be around the mantids and the reptilians, but I want to see in the Nordics. I want to see what are we? All right, I see the ship. What the hell's flying that thing? What's on it? What does it look like? The Virginia alien. Do all of the aliens that fly the little cigar-shaped silver cylinders, are they all the three-horn, red-skinned, red-eyed aliens? Like what? What's inside that ship? So that's me. I want to know what the hell's in there. But I'm scared.
Exactly. So I think first off, you have to make a decision, right? That when you open yourself up to seeing the aliens, you're also opening yourself up to other realms.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to first, I didn't do it this way, right? But first, let go of a lot of the pains of your life, because all those pains and shames are what maybe the bad guys are going to latch on to and blow up. Okay. And so if you're doing things that you know aren't on the up and up, you've kind of left a little chink in your armor.
Gotcha.
So I would say it's a good idea to start with that first. Then also know that, hey, if ghosts exist, extra-dimensionals exist, aliens exist, then God exists. And
yeah, that's what I'm not religious. I've been coming to terms with that as well. I'm just not a religious person. I never had a belief in it, but I'm starting to. Something's different.
And you don't necessarily have to think of God as like some sort of creator, but that there is like a consciousness of love out there. And so if you know there's a consciousness of love out there, when you put yourself in the vibration of love, then you know the beings that are coming to you are that of love. And so, because like no being is going to trick you into being in love. Like no negative being is going to trick you into going into a vibration of love.
Right, they're going to give it away. Yeah, because they're evil. I got
they're like, haha, I got you. And so,
gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha, bitch.
You're in love now. So,
like Chappelle, yeah.
So, and then you make the decision really to start opening up your mind. I wouldn't say to try to get the thing. Just try to strengthen yourself, strengthen your consciousness. Do the meditation. It could be a guided meditation on YouTube. Do it every night at the same time, and then say, hey, I'm open to being visited by loving beings. But
okay, yeah, emphasis on loving beings. Yeah.
But again, just like the magical spell of winning the lottery, you can't just say loving beings. You have to focus on the vibration of love. When you're calling out and inviting in, do it from a place of love. And that's when you know that even if the experience you're having is scary, that you've called in loving beings. Mm-hmm. So it's tricky because when they came, there could be two fears. One, something's happening that's overwhelming and scary. But then the secondary fear could be, what if they're evil and I'm being hurt?
See, that's what I'm afraid of, is letting in the wrong thing. That's genuinely what I'm scared of. Like, especially here in my house. I have a family here. I have my wife, my 4 children. The last thing I'd ever want to do is bring some fucking weird shit. And that's actually a question I was going to ask you. So, like I said before, we went to Washington with 4 guys. It was me, Gene Sticko, Ty Roberts, and Joe. I don't know his last name. But we all have social media for the most part. And, you know, Gene Sticko is ex-CIA, and he's got those Russian documents. Ty's got a show just like me. I come from the gaming world, also with UFOs. And Joe, same thing, because of the UFO world. Joe went home and reached out to, we all went home, and then weird shit happened to 2 of the 4 of us. Joe had, and he posted about it on his Twitter, he had his stove turn on for no reason when he was sitting there. And then when he went to go turn the stove off, a statue that was on his desk got knocked over onto the floor. So he's like, what the fuck? Then he's been telling me that he's been having other weird things happen in his house. And then Gene had an issue. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's with his wife. But it was almost weird. And I'll talk to you more about it off camera because it's a personal thing. But it was very fucking weird. So 2 of the 4 of us, like, it's almost like we brought hitchhikers back from this thing. And I've been told by my buddy Jeremy Ray, careful what you wish for delving into this because it's going to find you. Now, Jeremy Ray is a big-time MUFON investigator. Now he works with the IUFOB. And the last time he and I had a conversation, the footage was unusable. So every time that I to have a conversation with this dude, something weird happens between he and I. So, yeah, that's what ended up happening with us. So do you know of anybody that had any weird experiences coming back from the James Fox event in your crew? Because I've had 2 of the 4 guys. had weird shit. So have you guys had anything?
Yeah, I don't know if I can talk for them though, but I would say so. Yeah, I think one is that you obviously have a natural gift to see further than most people,
and it scares me. It really does,
and it's scary. But I would say that because of that, there are probably already beings around you interacting with you. And then when you go to a place like this, let's say you're just more attractive because you can see into these. You're more attractive than somebody that couldn't.
Thanks. The ladies like to say something.
Yeah. Well, cross your fingers.
Yeah.
There's some hot alien babes.
Yeah, let's go. Some Twi'leks.
Hey, so. And then I would say that even talking about them is a form of invitation, right? Because I think there probably is some sort of prime directive, don't interact. But if you already believe in them and you're talking about them, that's a form of invitation. And you can see them so that you know that it's real. There's no doubt in your mind that it's real. And so all of these things add up to making you more likely to be interacted with. And now you're going around and we're standing and talking next to each other. So the beings that have been standing around me who've never seen you before,
look at this fucking guy.
Hey,
he's got a nice ass.
Hey, let's go see a party with him for a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And I think that they test us. Like,
for sure.
What is he gonna do if I do this? And then they take little notes. And I also think that we're talking about, our minds want to just make it like a couple of alien beings. But I think that if you looked at this table right now under a microscope, it's teeming with life. There's a whole ecosystem of different bacteria, viruses, amoebas. It's teeming with life. And on my skin, there's a microflora of all this life. Right now, there is many different wavelengths, dimensions, realms that are right here, right now.
That we can't see.
And there's a whole ecosystem that literally survives off of you. And a lot of the times we say we don't know where thoughts come from. They just pop up in our head. It could be popping up from this ecosystem.
Yeah.
So instead of like trying to avoid this topic, I think that you should try to make sure your ecosystem is healthy, right? And so if you're constantly putting off negative emotions, right? Jealousy, arrogance, anger, frustration, then the life forms that are around you that make up this ecosystem around you are going to be like that. But when you're cultivating appreciation or love, sometimes I just set my hand on my heart and I focus on love for myself, love for this planet, this adventure that I'm on. That focusing on love, all the beings that are feeding off of negativity, they have to run away, right? Because there's no food for them here. So I think that protects us the most. Not just saying, hey, I wrap myself in white light, but actually focusing on the vibration of love inside of us and distilling that into something that you can do on the regular whenever you want. Because again, that's going to bring the right beings around you. And you asked if there's a hitchhiker effect. I don't think, for me personally, because I've been on this journey for a long time, I don't really have negative experiences anymore. But people that I don't want to use you as an example, but because you're not actively honing in your skill.
Well, I'm scared of it. That's what it is.
But I think these things are already happening to you. You're just not remembering it. Like the gateway, it's already open. And so if it's open, how do you protect yourself while this gate is open. And I think that is by practicing. All gifts that aren't used manifest as problems, because it's like, if I didn't use the gift of my legs, I would have to crawl around and drag my legs around.
Right, yeah, they'd be atrophying. Right.
They'd be atrophying, and not only it would make it harder for me to get around, because it would be better just to not have the legs, but I can't cut off my legs. Right. So then I'm crawling around, and I have to drag these legs behind me. So if you already have this gift, and you're letting it atrophy, it's gonna manifest as even more of a problem. The best thing is to get good at your gift, and that's going to protect you more than just kind of burying your head under the sand and saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah, trying to be an ostrich. No, you're probably 100% right.
Yeah.
The rest of the world doesn't exist. My head's down in its hole. Yeah.
You pull the covers up over your head. You're like, perfect, I'm safe.
I can't see it. Meanwhile, it's right here. I can't see it. Yeah,
So-
100%. No, I get it. No, you're right. I need to stop being a pussy and embrace it, but it scares the fucking shit out of me. And you've seen me. I'm not a little guy. I'm a big imposing. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm 275. I'm a fucking big boy. You know what I mean? I'm not a little fella. So, but still, the ghost shit scares me, bro. I'll run like a bitch. I don't care. I run towards fire and flames and fucking, I'll fight anybody. But a ghost just scares the fucking shit out of me. I'm sorry. I know, you're right. I probably need to just to embrace it. My mother tells me the same thing. Stop being afraid of it and just, embrace it.
Yeah. I wouldn't just say stop being afraid of it and embrace it. What I'm saying is that you should get stronger. And how you get stronger is by being able to... I can be happy when I want to be happy. Right? I just focus on happiness. And so I can also just focus on love. I could just focus on my third eye. I don't have to do anything. I've been practicing to be able to go into certain states of emotional vibration and stay there for as long as I want. And that builds strength, right? And then it's easier for me to exist in these realms, because I could just tune my vibration to what I want my vibration to be. I don't have to hum, I don't have to chant. All I have to do is focus on my heart, open it up, and then I'm there. But that took me, I really started my practice in 2014. It's 2026. It's taken me 12 years and I'm definitely not even a master at this point, but it's taken a long time. I think that honing in your skills, that's what you have to do. Not just don't be afraid, stop being a pussy. The reason why you play video games, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I love video games.
I come from Gaming Channel, yeah.
I love RPGs, right? So you're put in this world and you're walking around in the forest and you're literally nervous because at any moment, like a level 2 bunny can jump out and just end your thing.
Murk the shit out of you. Yep, 100%.
Just murk it. And so, but then later on in the game, you've honed in your skill. Now you're like a level 87 mage, and you just
fuck these bunnies.
Just boom, boom. And what do you feel? You feel confident. You feel secure because you've honed your skill in the game. Life is the same way. The reason why you're so nervous is because you know that you actually are a pussy and that a level 2 ghost bunny could just destroy your whole day. Mm-hmm. But once you know that, once you become confident in your skills because you've honed them, then you can walk in these realms and feel more confident in that place. And the more confident you are, the less likely level 2, lower level ghosts can just ruin your day and make it so you don't want. But you really do. If you want to be on this topic, I think you have to hone in your skill. You need to find your gift and make it better.
I think you're right. Can you lucid dream? Do you know what that is?
Yeah. So a lot of the times when they come, I'm dreaming, and then they pop up inside my dream. And that's when I realize, oh, this is just a dream. And then I become paralyzed in the dream, and that's when they kind of take me places. A lot of the times I'm astral projecting, where I'm just sitting on my bed, and then they pop up, and that pops me out of my body. But I would say that those are two different things, right? Sometimes they come to me in the dream, other times they come to me in my room, and that causes me to leave my body. I think there was a third one that I was going to say, but I guess that's... whenever I lucid dream, I've had a couple of lucid dream experiences, but whenever that weren't alien related, but now I would say 99% of my lucid dreams are caused by them popping up in my dream.
Because I asked this question because my wife asks me all the time, like she has night terrors and wakes screaming, and she's like, you never do that. I'm like, yeah, because I control my dream. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, if I know something's not right in my dream, I just change it. She's like, how the fuck do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I know that in my dream, I know I'm dreaming. You're not supposed to, but I do. And in my dream, I know what's happening is not real, and I just change it. Like if I'm falling, I just go, I don't want to fall anymore because I'm deathly afraid of heights. And all of a sudden, I'm standing on the ground now. And I have the ability to do that at any given time within my dream. When I know something's not right, I just immediately go the other way. Now, that's not to say my dreams aren't trippy as shit, but I'm able to control them at any given time. It's weird. It's like my brain is shut down, but I'm aware that I'm asleep, that I'm dreaming, and I'm aware that I can change the outcome of the dream. So I was just curious if you had that ability, being that you and I tend to have similar things. I've never had to have this conversation with others before.
So the way that you say I just changed what's going on, I feel like I have that same thing. But instead of changing what's going on, I just change how I feel. Okay. I just change it because I just realized that I don't have to feel that.
Right.
And so I just change it. Yeah. And I change how I feel. It's taken me a long time to be able to figure out that, and it's because I can just change myself in my waking reality. I could just change it carries over into the night. But I've never really changed the environment. I never really thought to. I just like I said, I just change how I feel.
Right, yeah. And I never knew that it wasn't common. Like I didn't know what I could do with that was rare until I spoke to my wife about it. I'm like, you can't do that? She's like, no. She's like, so I wake up screaming. I'm like, I wish. Because I'm like, well, nah, I wish. I just literally just change it. So
and again, because you and your wife are together, I really just already assume that her night terrors aren't just night terrors. That that she's probably an experiencer of some kind. That's that's maybe one of the things that links you together, and it is really scary when they come. And a lot of the times, the way they manifest is maybe your brain's understanding of that vibration, right? So it's part hallucination, part real, part astral projection. Mm-hmm. And so scientists would hate that because they're like, well, it's hard to dissect what's illusion and what's real. And my brain is obviously hallucinating part of it because there's this alien being that I know is an alien being, but it's manifesting as my third grade teacher. And so
that's nuts.
You know, it's like, and I don't know if they're trying to look like my third grade teacher or my brain's just like, I don't know what that is, and slaps a third grade teacher onto it.
Yeah.
But my point is that the monsters that were visiting me when I was a kid, they're not actually monsters. And there's been times where I've changed how I felt. I just changed how I felt, and all the monsters took off their masks, and now they're standing and they're angels. And so, and again, I don't know if they're actually angels, but they went from these dark, spooky monsters, like what I would say is like almost demon-looking creatures. They took off their masks, and now they're these beautiful beings of light. And it made me realize that's who these beings were the whole time. It was that my consciousness was projecting monsters on them because it didn't know how to handle it. And so all the night terrors that I was having is like, they're not night terrors. These aren't monsters. But I had to, I don't know, I had to go through this really long process to figure that out. And when they started taking off their masks and showing themselves to be angels, I would say 90% of the scary part disappeared from then on.
So the angels that you're talking about, do they look like the thing that was grabbing your head in the drawing?
No, I mean, he just looks like what he looks like. I mean,
yeah, that's scary. That thing's scary looking. So I'm
really?
Yeah, dude, that looks like a gray that's finger banging your skull and doing God knows. Like, it doesn't, like, look at its face. It doesn't look happy.
I think he looks so pretty.
Yeah, pretty malevolent. Like,
really, huh?
Yeah, show his face again. Show his face again. That thing doesn't look happy, dog. You look like you're having a dream that, like, oh my God, and that thing just does not look like it's pleased. It looks like it's funny. Like, I mean, that's a great picture, dude. That is a tremendous drawing.
My experience of looking at that picture, I feel so much love about it.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So maybe they're loving. I don't know. It just looks like it's like just finger banging your brain, like in the worst possible way.
It's so
like
funny.
Some Epstein shit.
So the first 2014, when I started meditating a lot, I invited these beings in at the end of this meditation, and I was getting really good at that meditation. And then I'm having this dream. It's a nightmare. I'm running around stomping fires, right? And because I'm like, I'm gonna get busted for starting this fire. I'm in so much trouble. And then I get two big shoves in the back, and it rocks my whole body. And I turn over, and my head is up to the window like this because my bed is pushed up to the window. And I look out over here, and about 20 feet away is this like dark shadow being. And I just froze. And then 1 second later, he's up to the window, and now he's staring down at me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's the aliens. And then next moment, there's 7 of them. And this is literally maybe 2 seconds that it's taking for all this to happen. Now there's 7 of them. My whole body erupts in vibration. In my throat, pinpointed, it feels like somebody's ramming in a tattoo gun. That same vibration, but it's pinpointed in my throat. And my first thought was like, oh shit, Gavin, like, did you fuck up? Are these like aliens just like throat probing you right now? Like,
bro, that sounds like an alien gangbang of like the worst degree, dude. It's like not a good movie to come across. I'm sorry. Well, depending on what you're into, who knows? But yeah, not my kink. Jesus Christ. Yeah. What are you, Riley Reid standing in front of the couch? That's what it looked like. Jesus Christ.
But it's just funny because that's my first thought was like, oh man, I'm being throat probed right now.
Like no, holy Jesus, yeah, no, that's yeah, no, time out. It's like time out, guys. I didn't sign up for any of this. Can one of you be a female, please? Jesus Christ, you know, no offense, that's what you're into, but it's not my cup of tea. Jesus,
it was rough.
Yeah, buddy, I could, you know, in all intents and purposes of the word, yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, so if you, like, okay, so you've been embracing it lately. I mean, the next step to me would be to try and communicate. Like, since you're no longer afraid of them, which is more power to you, I guess I need to work on that myself. Now it's time to start having conversations and trying to, if I were you, I'd have a camera in every angle of that room. I mean, I know you don't want to watch yourself sleep, but like I would definitely invest in like a motion camera or something to see if you can catch physically what you're experiencing in the astral plane. You know, you might be able to see you might not be able to see them, but you might see you floating or doing weird shit. Yeah, I would absolutely invest in like $100 motion camera, like a Ring camera, $50, $100, 100%. I would try and catch some shit.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, I'm down. It's a really interesting thought. I've never really thought about doing something like that. Again, you know, my goal hasn't been proof. when they started coming, it's like, oh, that's my proof.
Yeah.
and it wasn't just one time, it was back to back to back to back to back. So maybe I could have explained away the first experience, but after it happened the first like couple dozen times over that next couple of weeks, I'm like, oh, this is definitely happening to me. So my goal has always just been, how far can I go? Because there'll be moments in this journey where I hit a wall and I can't get any further, and then I figure it out. Maybe it takes me a few months to figure it out, and now I get past that hurdle, and then I hit another wall. So it's just been this journey for me of I want to keep going. I want more. I was talking to this native one time, and a native elder, and I was asking him to, do this rite of passage with me, where they leave you in the woods for 7 days in a circle, and you have water, and he sits up on the mountain or he comes out and checks up on you every once in a while and makes the right prayers. And he asked me, why do you want to do that? And it was crazy because I just stopped. I froze. I didn't have an answer. It took me a while to look over the next couple of weeks to come up with my answer, because to me, I've never even of course I want to do that. I want to get closer to spirit. I want to be able to move into these other places and meet beings of higher density.
Right.
It's so obvious. Doesn't everybody want that? I never even questioned, like, what do you mean? Why? Of course. And so that's just been my whole goal, where proof hasn't been my goal. Communication, you brought that up. I pretty much talk to them all the time in my head. Okay. And the trick is discerning what your thoughts from their thoughts, and how I met James Fox and evolution was because this woman in my head told me to go here at this time, and that's when I met evolution, and that's brought me on this more of a physical journey. So I am in communication. I wouldn't say that it automatically means I know what to do in every moment of my life. And a lot of times I get there, I'm like, okay, well, now what? But I would say that it has been successful in some ways of bringing, on this journey. But again, I would say the trick is just discerning between what you're making up and what message is actually coming to you. And that's probably been the biggest trick. I've definitely gotten a lot better at it. Again, I think when you tune to a vibration of love and frequency, you kind of feel a shift of energy, and then it's easier to communicate with these beings and know that the information is coming to you is correct.
No, that makes sense. It's confusing and it's scary for sure. Like, where do you see this going in the future for you? What do you think the next steps are for you? Obviously communicating, but then, like, have you tried writing down what they're saying? Do you what is it you do? Because obviously if you're in a dreamlike state, you don't remember everything. You tend to forget some stuff. And I'm assuming your brain shuts down sometimes when things are, like you said, you pass out when things become overwhelming.
Yeah, when shit gets real.
So, how do you write did you write this stuff down? Or what are you doing to document your experiences?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that every time I've had it, sometimes the experience only lasts a couple of seconds, right? It's like I wake up and they're here, and then I go back to sleep.
Right.
And but every big experience I've definitely written down. I don't really pull them out, but they're stacked in a pile in some kind of journal somewhere. The thing is that I'm preparing. I'm getting ready for something. there is going to be disclosure one day. Hopefully it's really soon. But even then, let's say the president comes out and says, hey, aliens are real. What is that?
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Well,
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it.
What is that? That changes the discussion. People are going to be talking about it for sure, but it doesn't actually get us any closer to being with them.
Right.
And so my whole journey, my whole goal is how do I get closer to them? And it has to do with disclosure, but it also just is mostly my journey. And so what's next is always get stronger, Gavin. Get stronger. Do more work. Get better. Go further. And eventually, I guess the end goal is that we get to a place on this planet where these beings start coming down and interacting with us. And then, let's say, even if that's 10 years away from now, in 10 years, I'll be that much better. If you haven't been practicing this whole time and they start coming down, if you go next to them, it's going to bring up all the darkness inside of you, all the fears, all the shame. And I'll have had 20 years of practice. So I'll get closer to them when the time is right. So what's next is always for me, I need to get stronger. I just need to keep going on my practice.
Are you religious? And if so, which religion do you lean towards? And if you don't want to say, it's totally fine.
I don't even know the word, but maybe there's like some kind of like multi-religion. I think that we're all kind of pointing at the same basic thing. I don't think God is like, oh, you prayed to me wrong. I think God would probably be just happy that its children are communicating, reaching out. I think God's love is probably like a parent, that God is kind of holding us and being like, hey, my beautiful baby filled with infinite possibilities. And then outside of that, I bet there's been people throughout history that through meditation, through whatever, have tapped in to other realms. Like it was pretty easy for me to tap into other realms, right? It took me a couple of months of really hard practice, and then boom, I'm leaving my body. And then I read stories of people throughout history, and I'm like, oh, dude, I did that. I've talked to Native Americans through Sundance, and I'm like, if I did that, I definitely would see some aliens, for sure. So they've been doing this for forever. We've been reaching out and breaking this material plane and speaking to angels, and if I didn't have the reference of aliens or extra dimensionals, I'd be like, oh, angels.
Right,
so,
right. Which is what they're saying. Yeah, that's what it was. Anna Paulina Lino is saying, that there's interdimensional beings. And
I
blah,
think
blah,
that
blah.
Some of the tech that exists, that whatever these things have, these energy things have,
energy things? What do you mean?
Well, they call them interdimensional beings. I think that they can actually operate through the time spaces that we currently have.
Beings and blah blah blah. And it's like I said, it took me a while to get the consciousness thing. Then it took me a while to do the interdimensional thing. But being not religious, hearing the interdimensional beings explains angels, demons, etc.
Yeah.
Angels, demons being that there's good ones, there's bad ones. So that also throws out the whole people saying, oh, well, something's not going to be in existence for thousands of years and be able to travel through space and be mean. That's bullshit. Things are mean through nature. If you look at like the average reptile, name me one fucking reptile that's cuddly. You can't. They will all rip you to pieces if they could eat you, if they're bigger than you. Yeah, a little whatever dragon's going to be nice and polite to you because you're 30 times its size, but you switch that shit and you make you that big and the dragon's that large, guess who's getting eaten? You are.
Yeah.
Like Komodo dragons are, my God, those things are just mean. So I think of alien species as nature. So mantids are evil. Insects are evil. Or not evil, but they're just very, stuck in their own ways. And most of them will eat you by nature. So that makes me scared when I hear things like mantids exist, reptile creatures exist, because then I think they're probably not nice. So that's what makes me worry about it. So yeah, the angel and demons thing throws me off.
I think we're talking about something that's so expansive that we want to put it into little boxes because, but on Earth, how many groups of humans are there? Mm-hmm. We're in the United States. You're on the other side of the United States. Two different cultures.
Yep.
And then inside your culture, there's many different cultures.
Yep.
And then
I agree.
There's so much variance, even just in the United States. That's not to, and then you start thinking, well, we're talking about aliens from multiple different places, all with multiple different cultures inside of them.
Right.
And we're talking about extra dimensional layers.
Yep.
So to
say that it's going to be nice. So to say something's going to be nice and kind just because it's thousands of years more technologically advanced is horseshit. Because, we watch these movies, and I believe that these movies are slow drips to get us to accept what's coming, But in all these movies, we end up being the victor. That's not what's going to happen. If there's some technologically, it's basically the difference between this napkin and this iPhone is the difference between our technologically advancedness. Like, we're the napkin, they're the iPhone. There's no, this napkin's not kicking the iPhone's ass. It's just not happening. So for them to think that, we think, or people think that we're not inferior to these things is the craziest thing ever. Of course we're inferior. The thing can travel vast dimensions. It can travel vast planets. It can go from point A to point B. Did you just see that latest video that Corbell dropped with the crazy video that just veers off and just shows, you want to see real speed?
No, I didn't. I'll look it up, though.
Oh, yeah, but it's crazy. It's fucking absolutely crazy. It's mushroom shaped, and it they try to lock onto it, and it gets it for a second. It's and it moves, and then it just veers off this way and just takes off like a laser streak across the sky. And I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. Yeah. No wings on it. There's no visible means of propulsion, but of course they're trying to debunk it. So I'm like, all right, you debunk it, but that was some of the craziest showing of a UFO. But of course it's FLIR footage, so it's not 4K, but still blew my mind. But trying to compare us to them, it's just silly. And to think that we stand a chance against them is even more silly. It's just nuts.
I think there's probably lots of good guys, lots of bad guys, lots of people in the middle, and lots of things that we don't even know are a part of the spectrum that we can't even understand a little bit. And then there's beings coming from extraterrestrial planets, beings that have been here the whole time, beings that consider themselves probably more Earthling than we are Earthling. They're like, you guys have been here for 500,000 years. We've been here for the last 2.3 or whatever. I mean, there's just it's just so complex. I think that's part of the ontological shock is that we could, if there was one alien interacting with us, we would probably be able to do that. But what if we all found out that we're never alone, that there are conscious beings in your room right now interacting with you, and some of them are manipulating you in order to be able to harness or feed off of your energy right now. So it's the next time you get this idea I'm going to go take a shower and touch myself, you're not alone.
You like that, don't? I'm gonna make eye contact with it. You like that, don't you, motherfucker? Yeah. Sorry.
Well, but it's if everybody knew that the whole idea of privacy is a joke, and that there's these beings in your, and what happens when you start being able to see them? the more that we believe, the more that they're able to interact with us.
Yeah.
So I think their subject is just so much more complex than a lot of people are making it. And I think it's really important, again, I think that we're actually really powerful as a species.
Yes.
And the thing is that if you're really powerful, but you haven't trained your power, then you're more easily to be able to be manipulated. And ideas of schizophrenia, maybe those people have a very good power that hasn't been trained, and that there's these negative entities that are tricking them. And then they're like, oh, please believe me that there's these beings talking to me. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, put them in the fucking box.
Was it the Carlin skit where he talked about like a drunk guy in California arguing with himself, but he's really arguing with a drunk guy in London? You know what I mean? Like, but you don't realize it because they're fucking astral projecting. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, buddy. You know what I mean? They're like going back and forth at each other, but they're like thousands of miles apart, just motherfucking each other. That could be possible. And it's like you try to think like it's all crazy, but now you're talking. It's just nothing is off the table now. Nothing is off the table. You're talking interdimensional, interplanetary, interspecies. God knows what else. Like, my head just goes boom. And then you listen to the things like, to me, I don't know how you are or how big into this whole UFO thing you are. I'm big into it, but I'm still new to it. But to me, there's 4 people that I trust in the UFO world. One is Bob Lazar, Matthew Brown, David Grush, and Dylan Borland. Those 4 people I trust, and I think they know what they're talking about. And then you take the thing that Bob Lazar said.
Extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thing. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
Oh, come on, that's so weird. That's a lot.
I'm not asking you to say what you believe to be a fact. I'm asking you to say what you read in a report that is distributed at what may be the most top secret facility in the world. Okay, right.
All right, I'll say it. It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers, and that's how we're mentioned in the document. That religion was specifically created, so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the container.
Or said how he read that these Greys just see us as containers. Like, what the fuck do you mean containers? And then, like, I guess they don't have souls or something like that. And then I was talking to somebody else about this, and he was telling me the same thing, like, you know, humans have souls and some of these things do not. So then it scares the shit out of me, because, like, what are they doing? Then you've got millions of missing people every day. Then you've got, you know, you hear that the aliens made deals with the humans, and then I wonder, what are the deals they can take humans? Then you've got too many missing humans. Then now you look at these Epstein files that are coming out, you type in the UFO stuff, and boom, my head explodes even more. So it's like, I just wonder, like, was there a deal made? Are they taking us? Was the deal kind? Was the deal not kind? It's so fucking scary, dude. It truly is.
Yeah. So I guess my beliefs from my experiences, and like you, there's people that you trust. A lot of the time, the people that I trust the most are people that say things that that go along with my experiences. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, I've seen that. We've been to the same party, maybe not at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
So I 100% believe that there was a breeding program where the Greys have been extracting our DNA in multiple different ways. I've had experiences where it's kind of crazy I could tell you, hey, I've been abducted. But then once I start saying, hey, I've been abducted, and there was a sexual component to those abductions, it becomes like it's like taboo and weird,
and a trust me bro type thing. No, I get it, but like I said, I'm not. I want, you know, if you feel comfortable telling that story, please do. If you don't, you don't have to. You know what I mean? There's no pressure.
Yeah. So again, I've told people the first story. I've told people a lot of stories that have happened to me, but I've always shied away from the sexual component to it. I think maybe one day I won't. Sometimes so you know that Matrix not have happened. Are you sure that it happened?
Right.
So this is one of those times where it definitely wasn't a dream. And I was aware that I was aware that I was a part of this program, and all these beings around me were my brothers and sisters, and that we were being made to have sex. But I knew it wasn't like a perverted thing. It was for some like grand reason, and these are just things that I understood about it. And so that's just, I think that's as far as I want to go with that part.
You're good.
But again, just like I was saying, that I definitely believe that there is some sort of breeding program. I would assume that the Greys made a deal with our government in order to be able to collect genetic samples from us.
I firmly, and this is going to sound crazy, I'm not a doomer or gloomer. I firmly believe this because there's too many abduction stories that are saying the same things. And again, there are far too many missing people. And again, when you look into that Epstein files and the now you find out that they were taking people and ritualistic sacrifices are real and the Pizzagate thing is real and all this crazy, every fucking conspiracy that I've said for the last 10 years is real. And it's like, holy shit. You know what I mean? And I've said this once, I'll say it 1,000 times. I don't care if Jesus Christ himself is involved in any of it. I want their heads off their shoulders. I think that doing that to children is the most vile, horrible thing. But then I want to find out, like, because Jeffrey Epstein was heavily tied and connected to UFOs and all this crazy shit. So I need to, like, start reading into those files. But yeah, I want to know what the deal is. You know, if they are malevolent, what can we do to stop it? Because, you know, then you're hearing that we're shooting them down. And I'm sorry, but if you shoot my ship down, I'm coming to kick your ass. Why aren't they coming to kick our ass? Like, what is going on? I just want to know. I want to know the truth. If we're in danger, and if we are, what can we do to save ourselves? And if we're not, awesome. Release disclosure, you know?
I think, like you said before, I don't believe that there's any kind of military thing that we could do against these beings because they're just so much more advanced. But I do believe that this human vessel that we're in is a very powerful vessel, and so the best thing that anyone can do is to strengthen the vessel, because we're not going to build an airplane that's going to outmaneuver them. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that you can train your body to be able to outmaneuver them,
right?
Because of who we are, just as a species. So I think that's why, you know, scientists, a lot of people will be like, well, why do they care about us? You know, we're ants to them. Yeah, our technology is ants to them, but our physical body is obviously very special, or they wouldn't be taking our DNA.
Right.
We're way more powerful than we know, and so again, if there was one message that I would share to everybody, is just to strengthen yourself, to become better yourself, to clean your room, to, do the dishes, have a clean space, a clean mind, go on hikes, do your meditation, eat healthy, because now your vessel is strong, and even if they are bad, you're not going to be as in much trouble. I think that there are definitely some beings that are on purpose causing problems on this planet in order to be able to feed off of the energy that we're emitting. And so don't be a part of that. Don't get angry. Don't be afraid. Don't go into panic. Don't close off, because that's what they want. That's what the bad guys want from us, is to put us in a negative vibration. So even if all the conspiracies are real, the main conspiracy is to limit our consciousness as humanity and keep us in fear and fighting mode. So if you really want to break out of that, don't go into fear, don't go into fighting, don't go into tribalism, don't go my side, their side, oh, these evil people controlling me. Right. Understand that you're powerful beyond belief, and do everything that you can to strengthen your power. That's it.
Now, where do you get, is that what the good ones tell you, or you just feel that is, where do you get that, because what you're saying to me is what I've heard from others in the same thing. They're turn to religion, turn to being good, do better things, get better sleep, do this, do that, clear yourself of negativity. Literally the same shit that you're telling me, I've heard from a certain few people, very similar to what you're saying, and those people I trust. So, yeah, the same shit you're telling me is the same shit that they're telling me. So where do you get this from?
I've been on a journey through different dimensions and realms. So, as crazy as that sounds, on that journey, I've learned things. I picked up little tricks that have helped me. And when I'm not being healthy, it's way harder of a journey. There are beings that have latched on to me that I've literally physically felt them feed off of me.
Like vampires, like a vampire.
Yeah, I felt all the heat or energy of goodness gets sucked out of my body, and was left feeling cold, dark, and icky and hollow.
Wow.
I got better after a while, after a couple of days, but I was someplace, and sometimes I leave my body and I float, and I wake up in random places, and I have no idea how I got there.
Hold on.
And I don't mean.
Hold on. So you fall asleep on the couch, and then you astral project to say Texas.
But let's say I astrally project, but I haven't consciously woken up, so I'm not aware that I'm actually projecting, and so my astral body is drifting, going through random places, and then I wake up. And I'm looking around, I'm still in this astrally projected state. I'm looking around and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? And one time in particular, I'm floating around in this black void space, and there's kind of a little bit of mist going by. And way off in the distance, there's 3 firefly-like things kind of just going around. And I'm staring at it what is that? And one kind of sees me, right? And it starts making this beeline, and as it's getting closer and closer, it starts to reveal that it's like a human-shaped being, right? And it's flying at me, and as it gets closer, I realize it looks just like what you would think a banshee is. Exactly what you would think, sunken in eyes, hair up here wet but flowing up. And it stopped 1 inch in front of my face, and it screamed, and my whole body goes white cold. And I just had the thought, I need to get back to my body. And I start flying backwards at 1,000,000 miles an hour, like I'm on a cord or something, and then I go up, I go down, I'm getting spun around. It was just like a roller coaster. My stomach is up in my throat. I'm barely holding on, and then I hear boom, 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 and I'm pop out, and I'm over the earth. I see the clouds. I start to corkscrew down. I see the roof of the room I'm in, and I land in my body, and I sit up like, oh shit. And I was so freaked out from the experience that I didn't. Sometimes if I go back to sleep right away, those beings pop back up. So it's middle of the night, but I wake up and I go make myself a pot of coffee because I'm like, there ain't no way I'm going back there.
Hell no.
And so I kind of veered off of that question. There's things that have happened to me that monsters, different dimensions, extra dimensional beings that have fed off of me and used parts of shame from my history to like weaken me.
Oh wow.
And so I had to get right. I had to come clean and say something that I was lying about, so that these beings wouldn't be able to use it against me. And once I came clean about it, like the person, reacted very positively, and there was just this huge burden lifted off my chest, and that particular being that was messing with me, I've never seen again. So that shows me that how important walking around with a clean conscience is. If I'm not getting enough sleep, if I'm not taking care of my body, I'm in a weakened state, and they pop up, and it's it's more it's harder. So that's how I learned. Like you gotta be right.
Have you gone to sleep in one place and woken up in another? Like when you've astral projected, like have you gone to sleep in your bedroom and then you woke up on the kitchen floor? Like what the fuck? Or like in a completely other building? You know what I mean? Like does that seem weird? Because my father, my father could astral project. I didn't know this stuff, but yeah, I've heard stories.
There's been times where I've walked into the other room, picked something up, it's in my hand, walked back to the other room, and then put it down and laid down. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I got to grab my phone to set my alarm, and my phone's not there. It's exactly, and I'm looking around for it, get up, I walk into the other room, and it's right where I picked it up. And so it's like, there's times where I'm sure that this is just the real world where I'm actually astral projecting. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a physical thing that just happened. It was an astrally projected thing. And there's things like that happen a lot where I'm not aware that I'm actually projecting. But obviously I am, because because none of what I thought just happened actually happened.
Or have others seen you? Because the reason I'm asking is, like I said, I don't know this to be true. My father died when I was in my 20s and we weren't extremely close. But he supposedly had the gift of astral projection, and I'm assuming, could do a lot of the same things that I could do based off of what I'm about to tell you. There was a few times where they would see my dad and he would appear older, or he would appear different, or he would appear in different clothing, or just whatever in general. And like he would appear in the car with my drunk uncle who was driving home, and have a whole conversation with him to make sure my uncle stayed awake until he got home. And my uncle would say, it wasn't the Vito now that you see when he was in his 20s. It was the Vito now that we're in our 40s. Mustache, balding, and it'd be like, what the fuck? Like, my father would appear at different times in his life to people, or he would look different. He would have shock white hair and white eyebrows, but he'd be standing there. Like my mother's brother was like, yo, what the fuck? Tell your husband to stay the fuck out of my apartment. He was just up there. And my mother was like, he's been down here the whole time. And when we play this video, my mother will probably be in the comments watching. So if you watch what she says, she'll tell the story while we're telling it. I tell like shit because I was never even alive at the time. So, but yeah, there was things where my father could astral project. So that's the one thing that I would love to have a conversation with my father about, is to see the shit that he could do or he experienced, is something that I never got to have. So yeah, Have people seen you actually project elsewhere? Have they seen, like, does your body do something different? Has anybody been around you when you've actually been out of body and just like seen you laying there lifeless? Because I've heard sometimes when you actually project, your body it's like you're dead.
So I'm pretty much a loner. I've had a couple of girlfriends over the years, but I'm definitely not having like slumber parties with other dudes. So
well, you know what I mean, not other dudes, but it's just like, have any of your girlfriends witnessed like, what the fuck? You're not in this room, but I just saw you in the living room.
So I would say 2 girlfriends, especially one, was pretty spiritually advanced, and so there's a lot of shit that happens in my room because I've been like inviting beings into my room for a long time. And so she had a lot of experiences whenever she would come here. We're kind of sleeping together, so it was that there's been a couple of times where the aliens would show up and she would like, we would experience it together in a way, right? Wow. Where the next morning we would be able to talk about what just happened.
So she witnessed whatever the hell it is, and what would they do something to her or like just leave her alone?
Again, when people say like do something, I mean, a lot of the time, I would say 90% of the time they stand perfectly still. Sometimes they get a little bit closer, but most of the time they're standing perfectly still. But the experience that you're having is the crazy thing. It's just like I almost think that maybe they're like trying to break me in, and like I'm a wild horse, and they're standing there, trying to break and then they get a little bit closer, and I'm slowly getting used to that vibration and slowly getting less and less afraid. So I would say there's like 2 or 3 times where my ex-girlfriend was experiencing the things. One time, or say 2 times we experienced it together. One time she doesn't remember it, but that was the time where she grabbed my arm and started saying that you're cursed, you're cursed, you're cursed.
It's crazy.
I'm like going back to sleep. I'm like, I'm not cursed.
Jerk.
And then several times she had a cat, and so the cat is like looking in one particular corner.
Yep.
And there's a being with a smoke monster like manifests out of that corner. That's like its corner. So she experienced stuff like that. I wouldn't say that she ever looked down and saw me while I was astral ejecting though.
Okay, yeah, because my mother, like I said, and I'm sure she'll be telling the story in the comments. She claims that one time my father was laying flat on his back with her on the floor, and my uncle and her brother and his wife were on the couch, and they say my father just lifted the couch with one arm, like with them on it.
Right.
And like started levitating or some shit, and I don't know the story exactly. I have to have my mother tell it, and then like she felt something fly through him and out the window, and he lowered the couch, and that was it. And they were like, what the fuck? Now my father was strong, but like one-handed raised the whole couch from the 70s with people on it. Like, bro, that's crazy. Again, I don't know if these stories are true. These are stories that I've been told secondhand. These are stories that I was told when I was at where my father was living with my aunt, and it's stories that I wasn't told in front of them, but they told an identical story that my mother told, and it was just like, okay, that's fucking crazy. That here you are telling the same exact story verbatim that my mom told me 10 years ago. So it's like, it's just, it's nuts. I gotta have her interview my mother one time and let her tell all her crazy stories.
Definitely, 100.
But it's just,
it's cool. I got nuts. My dad wasn't really in the picture. He's lives in South America, and so about 5 years ago, I went to live with him for a little bit, and I was like, "Hey, you might think this is crazy, but this is what's been happening to me." And he said, "Well, you might think that I think that's crazy, but he's like, I don't call them aliens. I think they're angels." but the same thing has been happening to me.
It's
and so one thing I do
it's hereditary.
when I'm too afraid and I just got to get out of there, I just keep trying to move my head up like this until I can break out of the paralysis. And he said that he did, and I didn't tell him this part. He does it with his foot. And then I came back and I told my mom about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I remember him saying like, hey, if I start like yelling in my sleep and I'm wiggling around, wake me up." So I mean, the same exact experiences. My dad and my mom has been abducted. So
wow.
So yeah, I mean, it definitely follows family lines for sure.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'm hoping I'm not being abducted. I hope it's just the spirit theory. I don't want to get probed. I like my body.
It's too big of a
I know.
Too big of a universe.
It's too big. Yeah, everything is all encompassing. Is there any other story that you've left? Is there any other thing that you want to discuss that I have not asked about? Is there anything that I've missed?
Well, my phone's actually, it's at 3% right now. I could talk about this forever. Some of it's tricky because some of it I'm like, I do want to keep private. And then also, I feel like if I say too much on stuff, it kind of loses people. Mm-hmm. Again, the main point, I think, is that if you have a gift, and you feel like you're a sensitive person, the best thing you can do is instead of just like calling in contact from the place that you are, strengthen your mind, body, and your spirit. And then everything else will manifest. I've never tried to astral project. I don't try to lucid dream.
Yeah.
It just happens. The more I practice, the more it happens.
Well, right? I'm gonna hit you up about meditation and try to figure out how to do it. But since your phone's dying, I don't want to keep you too long. We've been doing this for 2 hours. It's great. What we could do is we could definitely have a part 2 to this if you'd like, and we could discuss some more stuff. So Gavin, I want to thank you. You're not on social media, but if you do hop on social media, I will post all of your information as long as you want it to be in the description, because I know you're a private person. So what I'll do is I'll contact you for a picture, and we'll do the thumbnail and all that stuff. But Gavin, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your experience with me. It's been very eye-opening because some of the things that we talked about, ironically, are very similar, and we didn't have those conversations before, so it's fucking weird, man. It's nice to meet you. I want to thank you so much for doing this. I apologize we had to reschedule a few times, but this has been fantastic. Do you give your last name, or you just want to be Gavin? What do you want to be known as?
Yeah, my name's Gavin Lim. And I mean, technically I do have social media. It's just like I don't post and I don't look at it. I got Facebook because I love Facebook Marketplace. But I'm just never on it. I could shoot you my email too if somebody wants to contact me. That's cool.
Absolutely, Okay, I'll do that. I'll put your email in there. This was wonderful, dude. Thank you so much for doing this. Looks like you got beautiful weather. I think it's snowing where I'm at right now, so screw you and your sunshine.
I'm going outside right now and enjoying it.
Are you hopping into any of these consciousness? There's a consciousness thing that they're doing in New York City in April. Are you going to that?
It's really whatever the group decides. So Evolution's in charge. If we're doing a lot of things, we're starting a lot of different projects. I know part of it is that we want to do interviews with people and kind of start taking in all of the community as well aspect of everything. But it's not really. I would go to every single one if I had the money.
Me too, yeah. I want to go to Contact so bad. I just can't afford it right now. So I'm looking to see if I can go through alternate means, but I really want to go this year. Are you going to Contact?
I went last year, and it was cool. It was definitely cool. The thing is that for the most part, I just like sitting there and finding people to talk to.
I'm the same way, dude. I'm the same way. I'm not going, like, if I go, I doubt I'm going to any of the workshops. I just want to go and network and bullshit. Look, I went to go to this DC thing to help out Ty and my boys and to film a little bit, but I ended up meeting you. I made a bunch of contacts. It's been wonderful. So that's what I want to use Contact for. Yeah. So I'm going to keep in touch with you, and then if I'm going to go to Contact, I'll hit you up and let you know what's up. But I really have to go.
100%.
Hell yeah, brother. We got to have some more drinks. But brother, thank you so much for doing this. I'm going to keep in touch because I want to work on this meditation. Like, I'm not bullshitting. I'm going to actually sit here and try to meditate, but I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
But I'll keep in contact with you. Thank you so much for doing this. Is there anything you want to leave us with?
If you're a little scared, the definition of bravery is to do it anyways.
You're right. That's the absolute truth. Same thing it was for me. Get your ass in there, kid. Stop being a pussy. But Gavin, thank you.